Yeah, I'm gonna make sure you see the chase.
Live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. We're watching a police chase. That's why I want to get back to it. Felt it was wrong of me to deprive you of the police chase, so once I got everything set up, back to the chase we go. There is no audio to the chase, though. It is a wild day in news, I will tell you that. I try to be a man of the people. What Turkish guy? There's no Chris Christie, unfortunately. We don't have audio for this one. Chank? Is that the Turkish guy? You know Prometheus? I don't even know. It was around Christmas. So I probably missed my opportunity. I happened to be watching, I watched a Pac-Man video. And at the end of it, he was like, hey, we're looking for a editor, social media, blah, blah, blah. Somebody who could help book guests. And I'm like, I'd be really good at that. And I meant to send in, do the whole send in my resume and he seems like really cool. I don't consume a lot of other people's content. I don't like to soak up other people's opinion. If I had a particularly interesting title I see, I'll give this a watch. And I just happened to watch it at the end, I'm looking for an editor. I did an editing test for Taylor Lorenz. I thought I was going to get it. I thought it was excellent. I was confident in my ability to do the editing for Taylor Lorenz, but I didn't get it. They were really nice. I did not make their deadline. They actually said 12 o'clock p.m. And I never say 12 o'clock p.m. That's noon. So the entire time I'm doing the editing, I'm thinking my deadline is midnight. But 12 o'clock p.m. is noon. Yeah, I'm cool with Pac-Man, so I was totally gonna do the editing test and everything for him, but I've probably missed my opportunity now because that was over Christmas. I've just had a really busy time, but goddamn, I love police chases. Uh-oh, do we have commentary now?
Looking at what started as a pursuit of two bikes. Others have joined in now, and you can see they're doing wheelies down the road. Marla, this has been the most interesting, perhaps, of pursuits.
You think I'm a coward and a loser,
Absolutely.
Prometheus?
This has been underway for about 30 minutes. When we first picked this up, when Skyfox got opened over this, to Christine's point, just two dirt bikes. They were on the southbound 710.
Oh,
and there was
I love you.
Behind them. Since then, a lot has transpired. You see this guy doing wheelies. Wow. Very dangerous. More than one. They've been popping wheelies for some time now.
It's awesome.
They got off the highway. They literally filled up with gas and called some other buddies. So it went from 2 to at least 7. We've counted at least 7
big eggs
dirt bikes. And this is on.
We were too. I was only on Twitch. I was listening to music and putting the show together.
So this is something that we're watching. It's not an official pursuit anymore.
I love we saw the whole, we were with it back when there were only 2 of them.
There are helmet law violations here as well, as you see many of those people without helmets.
Oh, who gives a shit about helmet laws?
Welcome, everyone, to the Fox 11 News at 5 o'clock. We are simulcast on our sister station, Fox 11 Plus. I'm Marla Tejas here for Alex Michelson.
And I'm Christine Devine. We are now more than a week into the wildfire devastation.
Oh, God damn it. No, I won't go back to the chase.
Allowed to go back into...
Ma'am? Oh, okay. Here we go. So the YouTube feed had to cut back away. They're like, I'm going to go find another feed. We will be finding out what that news be doing shortly. There's a lot of shit going on. If it's not over in the next 8 minutes, I make the promise we're doing the news by 10 after. I'll give this 8 more minutes. We'll go back to the news, or we will go to the news. Are they live streaming? Do you have a channel? Have you found it somewhere, Prometheus? If you can get us their stream, that would be awesome. I'll put it up on the other screen. I'll do an inset. Maybe they have audio. They're calling commentary on their own police chase. Warlord, this is the kind of thing that you should be on. We have a black and white now, and it looks like they're close to them. Whisper it to me. I have both the arrest and his emergence from jail. What? No, the police were just catching up to them. How are they going to do that to us? Oh,
so
that's why we didn't have Chris Christie.
Those erroneous texts. Reporting live from Air 7, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
He's doing the fires.
With each passing day, the scope of the loss from the Eaton fire becomes more clear and more devastating.
For decades, Altadena has been home to a vibrant African-American.
This is Mark Brown.
So has a rich literary history.
Reporter Josh Einiger from our New York sister station is live in Altadena with more on that. Josh.
Up to 55% contained. The winds have died down.
Well, Giovanna, we know now the Eaton fire has claimed a staggering 17 lives and taken thousands of homes. But Altadena has also lost a huge part of its rich history.
I don't like these
There's been so
personal stories, but I mean, as long as we're doing the fire shit, do you want to start with the fire shit? Well, no. I guess we got bigger news we need to start with, don't we? Oh. We should be doing I should be telling you what that news is going to be doing in the rest of the show. Yeah, let's do that. Tampa residents are mad about holes. The state of New Illinois is a proposal of people that apparently want to secede from Cook County. We've got video of a burglar found hiding under a bed. A doctor was raping his patients. He's been indicted. A canine was shot in Texas. A police shooting taking place. Rudy Giuliani gets to keep his house. Bolsonaro not going to be able to go to Trump's inauguration. Fox is mad that Michelle Obama is not going to be attending Trump's inauguration. What is an oligarchy? A lot of people pissed off about the word oligarchy today, apparently. We're going to talk about the confirmation hearings that I did not get my ass out of bed to cover this morning. My apologies for that. Trump naming Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, John Voight special envoy to Hollywood. Biden administration set to delay the TikTok ban. Yeah, that's it. That's the news. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol live. Line one up, tip one back. There was police presence in Stone Mountain, Georgia. I don't know what the situation was there. They do not seem to still be live.
On top of the mountain. Good evening. I'm Sean Gables.
And I'm Tracy Hutchins. Atlanta News First. Madeline Montgomery now on the scene. And Madeline, you just learned some new details for us.
Weekdays.
That's right. So we found out that gentleman fired shots out on top of the mountain, and when police tried to confront him and have a conversation, that's when he turned the gun on himself and took his life. But it has been a heavy police presence. We have video where you can see DeKalb County Police, Lilburn Police were out here.
This is happening
Mountain Police here
about an hour ago.
Just a whole number of people. We were told by a viewer who was hiking here at the time of all this, about 5:30, that
this is
all
Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Police with assault rifles were telling hikers to turn around and get off the mountain because there was a man on top of the mountain with a gun on it, and people really didn't know what the situation was, but police
man on the mountain
were within the park to tell them their IDs and show them their licenses, trying to figure out who all had been at the park at this time, and the park entrances were all closed off for a couple of hours while police figured out exactly what was happening. And of course, we're going to wait for more details about who exactly this man was and just what the situation was leading up to this really sad and really scary situation. For now, reporting live in Stone Mountain, I'm Madeline.
America been wilding out for a while. This has been a wild 2025. Apparently, 2 people been killed, 1 injured at a shooting in Cincinnati. God damn it. The police.
Kathy, but my concern is just thinking about
the police have bikes.
Guys did, knowing that they tried to pit.
We got about 6
I think that
cops on bikes.
Thinks that might be a little bit too dangerous to put their officers out in the front like that. So for now, it seems like they're just more comfortable continuing to chase them from.
This is Gaggle running the red light.
We haven't even brought up is what if one of these guys is armed in some way? We don't know that at this point. We only really knew a little bit about the 2 original drivers or riders because we were following them for quite some time. But then they called up their friends, and then they all came to join in. So unclear where these guys came from, if they have weaponed on them, of course. But continuing northbound Prairie Avenue, we're right next to the Inglewood Park Cemetery. They're at the intersection right now. They're actually being blocked by other traffic.
Oh, this is wild.
Drivers like you and me, they got stuck in the intersection. And can you imagine this going by? As you said, they would probably think it's a parade because no one would think this is a pursuit. No one.
This is fantastic. Did you find a stream for them?
It's unfathomable. You really haven't seen anything like this before. Usually motor units wouldn't get involved in a pursuit at all because the danger level.
I told you to whisper it to me. I can't see that. What you like?
By the vehicle. So to see a motor.
What are asterisks gonna do for me, Prometheus?
To see 6, I've never.
Princess Kimberly, good evening.
This many people trying to evade the police at one time. never seen that either, but it's happening today here and now in the Inglewood area, where they're making that eastbound turn now onto Florence. So they're going to head, this is
give me link.
the 110 freeway if they continue in this general direction. I'll widen out the shot. Again, we're shooting this from a distance because they now are in that LAX airspace. If
Thank you.
East enough, then we'll be able to get them from the east. So in fact, I'm going to ask my pilot Jim if we could reverse course.
They're on Instagram. Are you serious?
To try to catch up to them closer to the 110 freeway.
I can't see all of y'all that's trying to go live with me. I'm just like riding. Y'all know I gotta ride. Hold on. There's a lot of traffic right here.
That shit.
That area we were talking about, but I did hear
Lost them! We lost them!
Others say they lost them.
No! I think we lost them! I think we lost them! I think we lost them! I think we just lost them! Let's go! Let's go! Where they at? Where they at? We lost them! I think we lost them!
It doesn't seem like the helicopter knows where they're at.
I think we lost them, y'all. I think we lost them. Look, where the helicopters at? Where the helicopters at, yo?
Yeah, where are the helicopters at?
We lost them. We had to lose them. We had to. Hold on.
I mean, they need to get off the road. Split up, get off the road.
We lost them, let's go. I called Lester, man. I have to make sure everybody good. I have to call Lester, make sure everybody good. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. They can't fuck with us, man. Hey, if y'all missed it, y'all missed it. They can't. Whoa.
Oh no, this is live, Ducky.
Did I?
Oh, you mean we're back to it? Yeah.
Look at the left.
Oh no, I was not gonna not follow this. We've got it from multiple angles now.
Call Lester, man. Everybody good. I'm about to right now. Hey, I'm getting off live now, though, Joey. So they can't find us.
Oh. I mean, smart.
Desk, we're trying to work our way around LAX to catch them on the other side.
That was cool as shit.
How long do we have, Jim? Like another 20?
I think they got away.
Yeah. Okay. About 20.
What do you mean bad, Justin? Let's see what the helicopter says, because they'll have word from the scanner. Oh, have they ended their feed? Yep. Amazing. The helicopter feed did come back. It just blanked out for a second.
Copy that, Tim. Thank you. Yeah, we're pulling up to it right now. We're right behind them.
Right behind who?
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're good. Cool shot, though.
Crunch time would do. Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, it's... okay, cool. Got it. Okay, cool.
There's the cops on the bikes.
Those are just the officers, though.
Yeah, you don't have eyes on your suspects. I mean, at this point, let them go. Just take the L. All right, so the big news tonight is that Sparkles was right not to sing from a distance last night, because apparently the ceasefire is not going through. Thanks to the Netanyahu government.
Welcome to the News Hour. Israel's cabinet has delayed a vote until tomorrow on the ceasefire deal struck yesterday to suspend the war in Gaza and swap hostages and detainees.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blamed Hamas for the delay, saying the militant group was trying to change the deal, a charge Hamas has denied.
You guys aren't going to believe this shit. They found him. They caught back up with him. Oh my God. My boys. They should have all gone off in different directions. They should get their asses off the street. I don't know that they have an end game at this point. Right one up, tip one back. Oh no, this thing might be empty. Michael, I tell you good evening. They had a good, what, 10-minute window there? Maybe a little less, 6 or 7. We are smoking Freak Show. That is the name of the strain I'm smoking tonight. We were at the weed store. Curious or flipped out. They named a strain after my show. If he comes back on, let us know. Crenshaw Boulevard. I'd give anything to piss in Dan Crenshaw Boulevard's eye pussy. They're all over the sidewalk. Got an obstructed view right now. Is that a Burger King? Have it your way. Still popping wheelies.
The 22.
no idea, Munster Balls. I have no idea who the original two are, or what their bikes look like. I didn't know I was gonna have to pay attention. It took me by surprise when like 10 others joined them. I would if I was in a press chopper. But I also don't know that they're feeding info. They're more or less listening to the scanner themselves.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they try to make a spectacle out of it. Oh, some of them need gas. Yeah, so they're stopping for gas.
Stopping for gas again.
Funny, they can get fuel twice. It's crazy.
I can't help myself. This is too good of a chase. We can't cut away from it. Really important things going on in the world. This is a wild news night. But this is a thing of beauty. Are you saying, Flash, that these two are the original? These are the suspects that set this off. We're at the Chevron on Crenshaw Boulevard. Is that light getting ready to go out? Or is it supposed to flash like that? Oh, I didn't even think about the fact that they have no lights. This is just fantastic. Stop and get your Reese cup. Maybe you need a payday or a Snickers. The 24-hour Chevron. I usually don't go to Chevrons. I think Chevron is a skanky gas station. I feel dirty if I ever go to a Chevron. All gas stations make me feel dirty. I wouldn't say I have brand loyalty, but I definitely have gas stations I prefer over others. Support the remnants of the Dutch Empire. Do you guys even have gas stations in England? You guys have cars in England? What's it like in England? I just imagine you all like riding around on the tricycles with the big wheel in the front. Cheerio.
Thank you to everyone who continues to follow us here on NBCLA.com and all of our streaming platforms. We're still following these guys. They're just crossing over the 10 freeway here at Crenshaw Boulevard. I tried to count.
You have some Grey Poupon.
But I'm counting at about 22.
For my beans and my potatoes.
The units that were behind them, the police units, they actually left them a few miles back. So I don't know if that means that.
Might have a banger with some blood pudding.
Or if those units are just going to hang back a couple of miles and swoop in if needed. But they did actually just stop at a Chevron gas station for several minutes. And
don't hate me, Warlord.
The chase is back on northbound on Crenshaw Boulevard at Washington Boulevard, just north of the 10 freeway.
Do you That's a good question. I'm amazed I've been shooting some guys. Have you had McDonald's before, Warlord?
So continuing.
Oh, I will not eat gas station food. How, like, is it a regular thing, or
eventually we do get into some commercial areas.
do you have a McDonald's near you?
Freeways.
What's a chicken share box?
In this direction would be the 101. So we'll see if they proceed to the freeway or if they're just going to stay on Surface Street.
Yeah, I bet your McDonald's is a hell of a lot better than ours.
What I count to be about.
You get 6 chicken selects. We don't even have chicken selects anymore, I don't think.
And just made a
12 chicken nuggets.
Eastbound turn on Venice Boulevard. We're in the Arlington Heights area. Just made that eastbound turn.
Apparently 4 dips.
From Crenshaw onto Venice. Still, all of them are here.
Yeah, that's a UK thing.
And we're just gonna transition over to Telemundo real quick. But
yeah, we used to have the chicken selects. That was like a mid 2000s thing, maybe. They did away with that shit.
Sandra, I got you. Go ahead.
I wonder what your chicken McNuggets are like compared to ours. Okay, like I'll have food from certain. I bet, Warlord. I bet. I'll have food from certain gas stations. Like there's one here that like has world famous chicken, and every time I go in there, it smells so fucking good. I'd have that chicken. I'll get something from a Sheetz. Need to lose world from their vocab? What? I don't know that made sense, Warlord. Attempt it again. Can we have a 6.5 hour debate on vaccines instead? Caduceus Stoney. Am I fucking saying that right? Did you ever give me a phonetical pronunciation? Torchy's like, no. Okay, like I don't eat McDonald's very often, but like I'm like, and I probably haven't done it in a good 5 years. Go get you a 20-40 piece McNugget. I'll fucking. There's something about them. They're decent. Cardar Tony. Cadar Tony. Yeah, Tony. That, yeah. Can I just call you Tony?
pero afortunadamente el oficial está bien, no fue herido en ese incidente, pero siguiendo esa
Darius Tony.
Motociclistas,
Thank you, Flash.
será una media hora, tal vez un poquito más. Y al llegar al sur de Los Ángeles fue cuando todos.
Wait, is this the same reporter and she just flipped into Spanish? Because that's fucking cool.
Fue que uno de los dos conductores llamó a sus amigos y vinieron a la escena y ahora ha sido.
I wish I was bilingual, but that's something you have to do when you're a kid. Oh, I'll totally forget it in 5 minutes. I'm sorry about that. It is getting dark.
En el área de Harvard Heights, pero por un momento estuvimos en el área de Inglewood, cerca del SoFi Stadium. Estuvimos en el sur de Los Ángeles, en áreas como.
Warlord is bored by the police chase.
Entonces la persecución continúa, pero sin oficiales. Al momento no hay ninguna patrulla detrás del grupo, solo los oficiales que están en el aire.
It's a lot tougher. Okay, some people can learn when they're older, Flash. Justin cannot learn. Justin has tried. Justin failed. Justin tried to learn French and failed miserably. Don't know if I would have been able to graduate college if they hadn't changed the requirements.
Here on NBC, my pilot Jim Pollard, at the controls of News Chopper 4, and I have been on.
Byronic, good evening.
For quite some time. Prior to that, we were actually covering repopulation efforts in the Altadena.
I didn't even. Does Greek have its own language?
Today at 3 o'clock. So we've been up for quite some time. We actually need to depart for fuel. So we're going to leave this pursuit temporarily. We're going to return to Whiteman, get some fuel, and try to come back if this is still going.
What's bonjour mean?
So for now, I'll just tell you the last location where we're going to leave these guys. It's going to be eastbound on
YouTube
Boulevard, approaching Normandy Avenue in the Harvard Heights area. If you are in this area, the best thing you can do is just avoid these guys and not get involved. We have seen a number of drivers try to slow down, take pictures, talk to these guys. You don't want to be involved in this in any way. So for now, the approximately 24 riders will continue eastbound here on Venice.
I don't know if it was that many, was it? Well, maybe.
Law enforcement in the air, but no units on the ground. That's latest here from News Chopper 4. I'm Eliana Moreno. We hope to see you soon. Bye.
Well, so that's what we got right now. They had to go get fuel. The helicopter had to get fuel. The bikes have fueled up a couple of different times. I'm assuming they're going to get away. Okay, Warlord. We're going to get to the news. The Netanyahu government has put the kibosh on a ceasefire.
Welcome to the News Hour. Israel's cabinet has delayed a vote until tomorrow on the ceasefire deal struck yesterday to suspend the war in Gaza and swap hostages and detainees.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blamed Hamas for the delay, saying the militant group was trying to change the deal, a charge Hamas has denied. In the meantime, American and Egyptian mediators met in Cairo to discuss implementing the deal, which is scheduled to begin on Sunday. Nick Schifrin once again begins our coverage.
Today, in the blown-out destruction of what was once home to 500,000 people, where children play in the ruins of what used to be Khan Yunis homes, there is tension between the horror caused by 468 days of war and hope that it will soon be over, as young Gazans told us, 14-year-old Ragad al-Esadoui.
We couldn't wait to hear this news because our hearts are tired. We really couldn't wait for something to heal our hearts. Finally, the end of the war is coming.
16-year-old Ahmed al-Nabahin.
The most difficult moment was hearing that my father had been killed. I'm scared because the Israelis still haven't retreated, and even though there is a ceasefire, nothing has changed yet.
Because in this war zone, the war rages on. In Gaza City today, the youngest victims received reassurance that the adults can no longer feel.
Is this the truce they're talking about? What did this young girl, this child, do to deserve this? Is she fighting you, Israel? Where are the Arabs? Where are the Muslims? No one has any conscience.
Israel says over the last day and a half, it struck more than 50 Hamas military sites and a commander who participated in the October 7th attacks. Palestinian health officials say since the ceasefire was announced, more than 75 Gazans have been killed.
We urge the mediators who brokered this truce to hurry up. Today is better than tomorrow. 7 is better than 8, because there are martyrs every hour.
But the deal that would pause the war for 6 weeks is not done, said Israeli government spokesman David Mencer.
That Hamas have reneged on this hostage release agreement and has created a last-minute crisis in an effort to extort last-minute concessions.
But in Washington, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said he remained confident.
It's not exactly surprising that in a process, in a negotiation that has been this challenging and this fraught, you may get a loose end. We're tying up that loose end as we speak. Please, sir, respect the process. Thank you.
Oh, respect the process. Respect this process.
We're going to watch this whole thing.
But Blinken was interrupted by 2 protests, including one ended by armed security.
I need to respect the process. Criminal, why aren't you in The Hague?
Why aren't you in The Hague?
There were also protests today in Israel. Supporters of hard-right politicians called the ceasefire a surrender to Hamas that would end up killing Israelis. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir vowed to resign from the coalition government.
The existing deal increases Hamas's appetite and motivation. This deal is letting them attack, explode, and kidnap and get what they want.
But the families of Israeli hostages held in Gaza are demanding the government sign the deal. They're anxious. Officially, at least 1/3 of the hostages are dead. Many do not know whether to plan a celebration or funeral. Tal Haimi has been a hostage since October the 7th. Udi Goren is his cousin.
The vast difference between the daily anxiousness about might this be their last day on earth to the fact that some of these people by next week might have their loved ones sleeping in the bedroom next to them.
Until then, they pray for peace. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
Egypt is urging Israel not to back out of the deal and to accept it and make sure it's implemented on Sunday.
This is a great achievement thanks to the extreme efforts exerted by Egypt alongside with Qatar and the United States. That's of extreme importance. We have to work hand on hand in order to start the implementation of this agreement without any delay. That's of great importance in order to secure the release of all hostages. We are waiting for the final approval and then to start implementing on the ground, hopefully starting from next Sunday.
I guess we'll know tomorrow whether Israel plans on going through with the deal or not. Meanwhile, you saw a clip of the reporter Sam Husseini physically dragged from a Blinken press conference. Here is the full ordeal.
In my pocket, the names of those who have been arbitrarily detained and unfairly held hostage, unjustly held hostage, and bringing them home, returning them to their families, returning them to their loved ones. Finally,
get your hands off me. 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 Answer a damn question. Do you know about the Hannibal Directive? Do you know about Israel's nuclear weapons? Everybody from the ICJ. I was sitting here quietly, and now I'm being manhandled by 2 or 3 people. You pontificate about a free press. You pontificate about a free press. You are hurting me. You are hurting me. You are hurting me. I'm asking questions after being told by Matt Miller that he will not answer my questions until I ask him questions. Sir,
respect the process.
Wasn't the point of the
They always want you to respect the process because they control the process.
Orders, you block the ICJ orders.
Please, sir, respect the process.
Oh, respect the process. Respect the process while everybody from Amnesty International to the ICJ saying that Israel's doing genocide and extermination. You're telling me to respect the process. Criminal! Why aren't you in the Hague? Why aren't you in the Hague? Why aren't you in the Hague?
I mean, it's a valid question.
We've worked to modernize our diplomacy so that...
Oh my God, he just goes back to it.
More effective, we're more prepared for the challenges.
This was supposedly Anthony Blinken's farewell address. Fox News thinks Biden is arrogant. I tend to agree with him, but not for the reason why they think.
Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Congresswoman, great to see you. Okay, so Bessent says taxes are pass-fail, and I totally agree with him. One of his jobs is to help you get this passed, and of course, you're writing the legislation on taxes. How can he help you do that quickly?
Not high enough for this shit.
Because the formula here, and it is, he did an excellent job today, by the way, from what I've been able to see. Scott Bessent, he's going to be fantastic as our Treasury Secretary. The critical thing that we are dealing with right now is we have high spending, but we also have record number. It is absolutely the most revenue we've ever received for the IRS, over $4.4 trillion coming in because of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We need.
Because of the tax cut and job. I was going to say it was because of the extra agents that all the right wingers bitched about.
Need to renew those, and we need to get our economy on fire. And we have to do the same thing by reducing spending. Remember, we had COVID, the IRA, and all the spending put in by the Democrats, which brought our deficit up to match the revenues. So what we're going to be doing is unleashing American energy, cutting the taxes, renewing a lot of these wonderful tax provisions that help the middle class, and tremendous for small business owners, the biggest job creators in the entire nation, especially where I live in upstate New York. That's going to grow the economy. And then you also, on top of that, we're going to see what we're going to do with cutting unnecessary fraud, abuse, and waste in government. That's part of the problem. How do we cut that? I'm a member of the Doge Caucus. We met again yesterday.
The Doge Caucus.
Bicameral group of like-minded members who want to see if we can bring the deficit down.
The chair of the Doge Caucus is my future GOP mommy, one Miss Senator Joni Ernst.
Grow, see America once again on top economically. That projects strength. It gives us strength around the world. And last but not least, and it's all actually part of this whole formula, is sealing the border and mass deportation of illegal criminal aliens. Yeah. Those people need to be out there costing us money. They're making us less secure. And all those things come together to make massive growth.
Light one up, tip one back.
American,
Are you it's a possibility that Ramaswamy will be the appointed senator from Ohio in place of J.D. Vance? Are you ready for that?
The American nation as the leader of the world again.
The border and the economy absolutely go hand in hand, Congresswoman. While we have you, I want to ask you about this Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal. Netanyahu is delaying a key vote right now. There are aspects of this deal that may not be that great for Israel, but there's also a little bit of a fight and a back and forth on who's taking credit for it. Biden certainly wants the credit. Trump is saying the only reason there's been a change here has been because of his team. Listen to this.
Thank you.
Books credit for this, Mr. President, you or Trump?
Is that a joke?
When it comes to the involvement of President-elect Trump's team, it has been absolutely critical in getting this deal over the line.
The State Department spokesperson who was saying that Trump was, in fact, involved. So your take on what's happening right now as this plays out, and we're waiting for Inauguration Day on
It does look like Trump was the reason.
You can't overstate the arrogance of Joe Biden. This is because of President Trump. He has put out strong language, projected strength in the face of Biden's weakness, and everyone in Israel, everybody knows this is why Hamas was willing to come to the table and negotiate. I know the deal is not perfect, but Steve Witkoff has done an excellent job making sure we get some of the hostages home. I have to tell you, I met one of the hostages last night, and her husband is coming home. So we've got to start getting all of these hostages back. It was clearly Trump. I kind of have a nightmare of remembering 1979 when Jimmy Carter never got the hostages out of Iran, and we knew Ronald Reagan was coming. Ronald Reagan, the incoming Reagan administration, projected strength on the world stage, and that's why our hostages came back from Iran in 1979. Very similar situation here.
This is a very similar situation, but just
that we are going to have
not for the reason you think, lady.
Administration. If you've seen superlative nominees just crushing it in the Senate all week long here, it's going to be an amazing situation starting January 20th.
I think it was Ryan Grimm that said,
really great.
If the Democrats
these nominees come to the Senate,
Can we talk?
I feel even better. Awesome job today too by Scott Bessent.
I want to talk about.
If the Democrats knew losing the election would lead to a ceasefire, they might have tried harder to win it.
Secretary of State Rubio in particular, when sticking with foreign policy, talking a lot about the threat of China, that saying soon we're going to be in a world where if you want something, it's not going to be based on whether you want it. It's going to be based on whether China can give it to us. Scott Bessent reiterating that part of the use in fixing that is through tariffs. And yet so many on the left seem opposed to making China play fairly. Why is that?
Look, China is not going to play fairly because we asked them to. It's going to have to come through force, and that's in the form of tariffs, economic strength. Look, the Democrats, for example, like solar panels. We had a bill that would not allow
I don't know what you mean by play fairly.
Our benefits, tax credits, to go to the Chinese Communist Party to continue production of solar panels. The Democrats voted for it. It's a way of bringing our supply chains back here and making sure our solar panels and all the energy and all of the above strategy is going to be done by the United States and American companies, not the CCP, much like the same situation we're seeing with TikTok. We do not want the Chinese Communist Party having access and surveillance over American citizens.
Interior Secretary Doug Burgum had some things to say about that.
We'll get to Burgum here in a second. Well, since she brought up TikTok, the Biden administration apparently asking for a delay in the implementation of the banning of TikTok.
Joining me now is NBC News correspondent Savannah Sellers. Savannah,
there have been rumors of Elon buying TikTok. We watched the video of Mr. Beast saying he would buy TikTok last night.
And President-elect Trump on their one-time support for a TikTok ban. What are your takeaways as we await to see what happens?
Hi, Krista. Thanks so much for having me. That is exactly right. So the President-elect, I should say, Trump one, we've been hearing a little bit more about, right? He's gotten very comfortable saying he wants to save TikTok. He has a warm spot in his heart for it. But this
I'll buy TikTok.
Is significant. This is a significant reversal for the Biden administration. Keep in mind, of course.
Well, he said he had billionaires.
Signed this into law. Them now looking for ways to delay what should have been an inevitable with their law, depending on how the Supreme Court rules here, is a big shock. And here's what's so notable. The reason that this had overwhelming bipartisan support is because of what national security officials said was a serious national security concern because of TikTok's parent company, it's called ByteDance, their ties to China, and essentially saying that China could potentially steal American users' data or, maybe more concerningly, manipulate the content shown to Americans within the app. None of that has changed, Kristen, but what has happened, what has materialized over the last couple of days is millions of TikTok users expressing their discontent with the fact that this app may soon be unavailable to them.
Well,
and
Savannah, I guess the question becomes what can actually be done at this point? I mean, if the ban goes into effect on Sunday, what, if anything, can the outgoing President Biden do?
Absolutely. So, Kristen, we're actually breaking news literally right now as I'm on the air with you about exactly what they do plan to do, and I'll explain how they can do it. We are just now reporting that the Biden administration does plan to punt implementation to the Trump administration and that the way that they are going to do so is that they are not going to collect on the fines that is the punishment described in this law. So that is breaking right now as we speak. Let me explain that. The penalty in this law, what effectively is the whole underpinning of this, is that the service providers, so that is
So it saves it for like a couple days?
offering TikTok in its app store. That's a company like Oracle, the data hosting server for TikTok. In this law, those companies are fined $5,000 per user, 170 million users. It totals to about $850 billion in fines. That's the whole underpinning of this here. The Biden administration is just now telling us they will not collect on those fines. That means Sunday effectively no longer matters as a deadline. And I think I'd go so far as to say it also kind of renders what the Supreme Court will decide not as important anymore if the Biden administration is committing to doing that. That then means the next
The Trump administration committed to do that.
Trump has said that he has plans to immediately intervene. There are several different options that he has at his disposal. Could he somehow organize?
TikTok is not going away.
He, as the president, has the discretion to say, yep, that's a qualified divestiture. I'm good with that. Could he tell his attorney general to essentially do the same thing that the Biden administration is telling NBC News that they are doing, which is, hey, don't enforce that. Don't collect on those fines. It'll be a really interesting question, though, Kristen, to then see how the tech companies handle this. If you're the general counsel at an Apple or an Oracle, do you tell your company, yep, I think we're safe here, that's enough protection, or could we still see those apps have lingering concerns?
Wow, Savannah, incredible work breaking that here.
Jesus.
Really appreciate it. Thank you
Lots
so
of colleagues involved.
Yes.
Carol Lee, Amanda Turkle, John Allen, everybody in our D.C. bureau as well. But yes, just coming off right now.
Good job to the entire team.
Fuck your team. Hold on.
It just underscores how dynamic this story is. And
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about
Shut up, Lester.
Stories on the
I kind of like doing it now. I'm sorry. I had to. What is oligarchy? It was a song that James O'Keefe made when he was still at Project Veritas.
In his Wednesday farewell address, President Joe Biden warned that the United States could be sliding into an oligarchy caused by tech billionaires.
Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy.
This was a big warning simply because the word oligarchy has a lot of negative connotations.
What
Biden was really talking about was the concentration of wealth for people like Elon Musk, who's worth more than $450 billion. Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg.
They're all going to be at the inauguration.
$200 billion. And what Biden said, kind of, or implied that they're doing, is that by currying favor with Trump, we're getting a rule of the few instead of a rule by the many that's supposed to come with democracy. Oligarchies, in particular, are about serving the rich. And what Biden seemed to be suggesting is that if you serve the rich, that's going to come at the expense of people. And yet, at the same time, this is something of a dangerous slope because businesses like Amazon, Meta, and Elon Musk's various companies have created a lot of jobs and a lot of middle class and upwardly mobile lives. On top of that, a lot of academics would say that the United States was already risking oligarchy because Democrats also get money from billionaires. Some of the most prominent examples of oligarchies around the world would include, say, Russia or apartheid-era South Africa. In each case, what we saw was that individuals' rights and freedoms were ultimately undermined in some form by the concentration of wealth and that mix in which profit and politics go together at the public's expense.
My brother in Christ, you've been helping the oligarchy for 50 years. You were known as the senator from MBNA. Malarkey. Okay, is this kind of like Eisenhower, who had been a general in the military? Helped win World War II. He's warning of the military-industrial complex as he's leaving office. Like, yeah, you did that. You're the one that did that. You're the one that had the power to stop it as well. This was dumber. Okay, fair enough. Quesadilla, good evening. I feel like I've missed some other people. Curiouser, good evening. I'm sorry if I didn't shout you out. Just kind of odd, but if you need an example of oligarchy, this was from Pam Bondi's confirmation hearing earlier today. This was a government watchdog agency.
Client list
I can't tell
is
her
full
name.
of controversial clients, some of which stand to benefit directly from having their former lobbyist in charge of the DOJ. Over the last 5 years, she represented 30 clients, from large corporations and contractors to a foreign government. In addition, during her earlier time as Florida Attorney General, a recent New York Times review found several pieces of evidence that seemed to demonstrate her general tendency to assist corporate allies and corporate lobbyists' strong belief that Bondi was exceptionally accessible to lobbyists and amenable to the agendas of their corporate clients. Bondi had a large number of domestic clients, but today I'll highlight just two. Geo Group, the nation's largest private prisons company, and Amazon, an e-commerce giant. Bondi was registered to lobby the first Trump White House in 2019 for Geo Group. Both DOJ and DHS inspectors general have been critical of prison management of Geo Group, and they stand to profit substantially if the Trump administration's new immigration detention and deportation policies result in filling empty or underutilized beds in their facilities. As a real precedent for this concern, Public Citizen did research back in 2019, which showed Geo Group's contract dollars rose by over 40% in the first 2 years of the Trump term. Now to Amazon. They're, of course, a very well-known tech company. Bondi was registered to lobby for them in 2020. In recent years, they've been investigated by the DOJ over injury rates and workplace safety at their warehouses, been referred to the DOJ by a bipartisan group of lawmakers for potential criminal obstruction, and had their robo-taxi unit federally investigated over safety concerns. In addition, DOJ and the FTC recently reached a settlement with Amazon regarding children's privacy violations via Alexa. And of course, Amazon also receives multi-billion-dollar contracts from multiple federal agencies, ranging from DoD to NASA. Beyond these examples of potential domestic entanglements, Bondi was registered as a foreign agent, lobbying on behalf of foreign governments and officials. To highlight just two, Bondi worked for both the Embassy of Qatar and a Kuwaiti investment firm.
Well, that's probably what oligarchy sounds like, as well as the rest of the cabinet. Now, how many billionaires did Trump end up appointing? Doug Burgum was one of them. He had his confirmation hearing earlier today. One of several that he appointed in the cabinet.
Nancy Cordes in West Palm Beach, Florida, and Torian Small on Capitol Hill. Nancy, I want to talk to you about confirmation hearings today, specifically for Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He was asked...
Well, he's a billionaire, isn't he?
Tariffs, and you know as well as I do that immigration and tariffs are going to be early prisms into how aggressive campaign promises are going to be translated into policy. Let's listen to this exchange between Oregon Democrat Ron Wyden and Scott Bessent.
All through the campaign, we heard they weren't, that foreign countries were going to pay it. I think that's baloney. It's going to be paid for by workers and small businesses.
Discloses $500 million.
Response.
Yes, Senator, I would respectfully disagree. And the history of tariffs and tariff theory, optimal tariff theory, does not support what you're saying.
So, Nancy, that reads to me like all in on tariffs.
The New York Times call him a billionaire.
That was one criteria to get this job. There were a number of individuals who were vying for Secretary of the Treasury, and Donald Trump was looking for someone who would stand by him and by his plan to impose these across-the-board 20% tariffs on foreign goods. And so Scott Bessent, who has not always seen eye to eye with Trump on this issue in the past, is now singing the party line. I think that his hearing went pretty well by Trump's standards today. He talked a lot about the Trump tax cuts and the need to re-up those once Trump is in office. He argued that if they are not extended,
that's their first order of business
next year, that there will be economic hardship in this country that he argued would fall on the lower and middle class. He was interestingly, Major, also asked about that warning from President Biden last night in his farewell address, where he described a new class of oligarchs in this country who have massive wealth and unprecedented influence.
How ironic you put those pictures up.
Politics. We're talking about people like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Scott Bessent himself is believed to be a billionaire, and he said that he doesn't believe that the amount of wealth that is concentrated in the hands of a few.
I think all these motherfuckers except the TikTok dude is going to be at the inauguration.
Possible for others.
Maybe the TikTok dude too.
Economic spectrum to get ahead as well.
Nancy, I'm really glad you mentioned that, and our viewers well know you live in two different worlds. You are covering the incoming Trump administration, but know a great deal and are well-versed on the outgoing Biden administration. So for the audience's benefit, I want to play a segment of the farewell address from the president in the Oval Office last night on that very point. Let's listen.
I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well.
No shit, Sherlock.
Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking.
So, Nancy,
that I'm not so much
that those
concerned
of you
about.
covering and keeping an eye on the outgoing Biden administration were expecting the president to focus on in this farewell address, kind of reviving comparisons to Dwight David Eisenhower's departing warning about the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit about it, or did a shit about it.
Not at all. I think we assumed that he was mostly
Let the
going
military grow stronger.
what he viewed as his accomplishments over the past 4 years, which he did as well. But he did offer these sort of stark warnings, which came as a surprise, in part, Major, because he and his administration have had a lot of opportunities over the past 4 years to criticize individuals who might fit the description that he laid out there, individuals like Elon Musk, when there have been times in the past where Elon Musk has done or said something particularly controversial. We have asked the president, we have asked some of his aides about it, and publicly they've been very reluctant themselves to criticize Elon Musk, in part because he has so many important government contracts, whether it's SpaceX or Starlink. It is a very delicate relationship. So it did come as something of a surprise to hear President Biden warning about oligarchs in the way he did last night. He's had many opportunities over the past 4 years to warn about them and warn about
And he himself hasn't gotten super rich.
This was an opportunity he only
He's just worth a few million.
last night with 5 days left in office.
Torian, turning you to on Capitol Hill, we're nearing the end of the first week of this confirmation hearing process.
He's one of the
My sense is
least wealthy presidents we've ever had.
Yeah, more than a dozen hearings over the past few days. A lot of even some of the more controversial picks appear to have the numbers, according to Republican leadership on this side, of the Capitol. Starting with Pete Hegseth, he obviously came in here with quite a bit of controversy surrounding his nomination. We saw during his confirmation hearing quite a few Democrats taking swipes at him, none more fiery than those lobbed by female senators. I remember Senator Warren asking him about his comments on the role of women in combat roles in the military. She asked him what has changed since his comments that he made on a podcast in early November to now.
It was just a podcast.
Quite a few of those comments he was unable to answer. She answered for him, saying that it was just the fact that he was picked by Trump for this position. She said that doesn't inspire too much confidence by female members of the armed services. She believes that they probably believe that he'll revert back to his old thoughts on the matter. It's also Pam Bondi, who had quite a bit of
Bondi
on the Hill from Democrats. Even some of her biggest critics, though, like Dick Durbin, the ranking member on the Senate Judiciary Committee, after her hearing came out and said he thought that she handled herself well. In fact, we followed up with him this morning, a day after that hearing, and asked him again on his thoughts. He said he thought that she did outstandingly well, and he thinks that she has the votes there to ultimately get.
Yeah, I think she's going to be the
I want to ask you,
Attorney General.
Nancy, the same question. The Inauguration Committee has put out the formal inauguration portrait of incoming President Trump.
Did everybody see the portrait?
Photos, Inauguration 2017 and Inauguration to come side by side, so we can all take a look at the comparison. Smiling, the other scowling, sort of, I don't know, mugshot chic for the inauguration. Torian, that's.
I thought they just photoshopped the mugshot.
Yeah, I mean, just based off of the incoming administration, what a lot of Trump's loyalists have been saying, this is a more serious, perhaps more aggressive administration than what we've seen in the past. The through line here is restoring in their minds the integrity behind a lot of these departments, removing weaponization, but also projecting strength on the global level. Marco Rubio, who is in contention for Secretary of State, often mentioned that no longer will the U.S. be looked at as working for a global agenda. He said this isn't isolationism. It's about prioritizing American interests first, and in doing that by projecting strength on a global level.
And Nancy, your take? I mean, we did show the vice president's portrait, which is basically out of any yearbook you'd find anywhere. But the presidential one.
Major taking shots at him.
Right. You have that side-by-side of the two Trump portraits. It would be interesting to see a side-by-side of his new portrait and his mugshot from 2023, because there were so many people who instantly remarked today how similar his expression was in those two photos. I don't know if you call it a glower or a smolder. Either way, there was definitely a vibe. And even the...
There's a vibe, all right.
Pointed it out. They put out a statement about the new official portrait.
Orange Steel
said they go hard. So I think it's no accident that he's got that expression. It was something that he wanted to portray a tough new President Trump about to take office.
Potential caption: back off, expletive deleted. Nancy Cordes, Torian Small.
What is up with Major? Goldfish, good evening. Somebody else stuck in here on me. Dougie, did I tell you good evening? T minus. Lee Zeldin was nominated to be head of the EPA. They didn't even mention him. He got grilled by Bernie earlier today.
Congratulations on your new title here. Mr. Zeldin, thanks so much for coming in the office the other day. I enjoyed our chat. Mr. Zeldin, 2024, as you know, was the hottest year in recorded history. The past 10 years have been the hottest 10 years on record.
Wonder why they didn't play Bernie.
In recent years, unprecedented fires, in the West Coast and in Canada, and we're seeing the horrific situation in LA right now. We have seen unprecedented flooding in China, displaced millions of people there, unprecedented drought in Brazil, Africa, and elsewhere. And in southern Africa, people are dying because of the drought and their inability to grow crops. Billions of people have been sweltering in Europe and elsewhere in unprecedented heat waves. In the midst of all of that, President-elect Trump has said that climate change is a hoax. You will be, if confirmed, one of the leading spokespeople in this country, representing us throughout the entire world. Do you agree with President-elect Trump that climate change is a hoax?
Well, first off, Senator, it was great to meet with you as well. I believe that climate change is real, as I told you. As far as President Trump goes, the context that I've heard him speak about it was with a criticism of policies that have been acted because of climate change, and I think that he's concerned about the economic costs of some policies where there's a debate and a difference of opinion between parties.
I would respectfully disagree with you. I think he has called it a hoax time and time and time again. And I would say, for the record,
Alien, good evening.
And let me ask you this question, all right? Some of us have used the word existential threat. What we're seeing in LA right now is apocalyptic. And the other terrible weather disturbances, whether in the Midwest of this country, whether in many states that are represented right here. Unprecedented floods in my small state of Vermont. We've been hit over and over again in recent.
Yeah, this motherfucker is like asking for Greece news, and like I'm like, did something happen in Greece? Was there some sort of stabbing or a horrific bus crash or something? The biggest news that's going on in Greece right now is that they're gonna, like, their hotels are gonna have to fill their pools with seawater because of a drought. That's the biggest news out of Greece right now. Do you want me to pivot to it? I pulled the story up. I'm a man of the people. I'll make it happen. Greece panic as hotels may be forced to fill pools with seawater amid worsening droughts. Hotels in Greece may be forced to fill their swimming pools with seawater this summer amid worsening drought conditions, a new proposal has warned. The crisis, which has affected the top tourist country for the past 2 years, has shown little sign of relenting, and the upcoming tourist season is set to add further strain to hugely depleted resources. I mean, it's no laughing matter that Greece is probably going to get some wildfires, much like California. Greetings, Lenny. Good evening. Thank you for the resub. But that's the most pressing issue. They're warning that they might have to switch to seawater in their hotels. And you're begging me for Greece news.
In years, our state capital, Montpelier, was underwater recently in a way that we have not seen.
But it relates to what Bernie's talking about, climate change, as we're grilling the
an existential threat
nominee for the EPA.
That there must be an urgency to get our act together, to address it.
Senator, we must, with urgency, be addressing these issues. And today, as we talk about any way at all that the EPA can do its part.
Well, now I think you are AI. Heckin' random. Good evening.
And to make sure that our air and water...
Oh, shit, it's Lenny's birthday. Happy birthday, Lenny.
Look, EPA has enormous responsibilities over an enormous number of areas. I'm focusing on picking up what Senator Whitehouse said. I worry very much. Do you have kids?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. I worry. Many of us have kids. We have grandchildren. This is serious stuff. This is beyond politics, my friends. This is the future of humanity. And if we do not get our act together And that is not just the United States of America. This requires international cooperation. So let me ask you another difficult question. If tomorrow, magically, the United States Congress did all of the right things, that would not be enough. Climate change is a global crisis. It requires the cooperation of China, Russia, Europe, Latin America, etc. Are you prepared to represent the United States aggressively with some of your colleagues in reaching out to countries all over the world to cut carbon emissions?
Senator, it's very important for I, as administrator of EPA, whether traveling to the G7 or the G20 or elsewhere, to be reaching out to these other countries to make sure
I hate this dude.
Pressure on other nations to do their part as well. And it will.
He was a congressman.
Stay up at night, to lose sleep at night, to make sure that we are making our air and our water cleaner.
All right, I know
he ran for governor of New York.
Beating up on China, it's good politics. They are now the major carbon polluter in the world. We have historically had that role. We're now number 2. We're not going to solve this crisis without working with China. Are you and hopefully your colleagues, if you are confirmed, prepared?
Oh, no, I love Bernie.
To try to lower
Bernie's amazing. I hate Lee Zeldin.
Senator, on many different issues, it is important not just to be working with nations that we are the strongest aligned with, but to also be in communication with and engaged in dialogue with countries that.
And he just keeps coming back.
Competitors and also our greatest adversaries.
He did horrible in the governor's race.
Is an adversary in many respects.
Okay. As part of the
I thought about it, Prometheus. I thought about putting on Mulholland Drive.
There, for, I believe, $7 billion to lower
almost just canceled the show, but there's a lot of news going on
all over this country by helping them install solar panels on their roof. We did it. My wife and I did it in our house. Our electric bill went down by 80%. Problem is, many working class, lower income people can't afford the initial cost to install the solar panels. That's what this bill does. Can I have your word right now that you will work with me to make sure that that Solar for All program is rapidly and effectively implemented all over the country?
Senator, it is my obligation on this and every other law enacted by Congress that I will follow my obligations under the law. And when it comes to spending money, it is important that I have the ability to sit before you and account for every dollar that's being spent by the EPA. So I know that this is an important priority of you and solar power.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Almost saved by the bell.
That was the fossil fuel industry.
Did Bernie's phone just ring?
I look forward to working with you on the Center.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was funny. Oh, you want to see Smokey again? He had just gotten comfortable. He had like a red piece of fur, probably from the blanket. Yes, Hagen Rand. Would you like to call in? Would you like to hop on the Discord? You can totally give your thoughts. Hagen random indeed. You're all wet, buddy. You're all wet. Yeah, fuck Elon. If we don't get enough callers, I don't know how to get more people calling in to argue with me. You gotta get me bigger, so. But then again, a lot of people, like the Majority Report, doesn't get people to call in to argue very often. It's always people that agree. Trump has named Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and John Voight as special ambassadors to troubled Hollywood. They'll bring lost business back. Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and Jon Voight. That's the future of Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Poor James Woods, and he just lost his house, too. President-elect Donald Trump is hoping to make Hollywood stronger than ever by naming Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and Jon Voight as special ambassadors whose goal will be to bring back business lost to foreign countries. It is my honor to announce the special ambassadors to a great but very troubled place, Hollywood, California. They will serve as special envoys to me for the purpose of bringing Hollywood, which has lost much business over the last 4 years to foreign countries, back bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Harder, better, faster, stronger. These three very talented people will be my eyes and ears and will get done what they suggest. It will again be, like the United States of America itself, the golden age of Hollywood. America is such a fucking joke. Fox News is mad at Michelle Obama because she will not be attending the inauguration. Seems odd to me. Are you guys prepared? We're just a few days away. 4 more days of Biden being president.
Well, Trump's inauguration is just 4 days away, and Michelle Obama says she's not going. It will be the second time in 2 weeks that she has skipped a gathering of former presidents. And
who gives a shit?
Standing tradition. Now, according to The Hill, longtime allies of the former First Lady say that she is sending a powerful statement by skipping the event.
Is she?
They say that she wants nothing to do with
who cares?
Deserving of the presidency and is making no effort to hide her disdain for Trump. Now, one ally said, quote, she meant every word she said on the campaign trail with every fiber of her being. And she's no hypocrite. Another said, quote, saving some credibility. A source also telling People magazine, quote, there's no overstating her feelings about Trump. She's not one to plaster on a pleasant face and pretend for protocol's sake. Michelle doesn't do anything because it's expected or it's protocol or it's tradition.
Is she going to run?
Note that her office is keeping quiet on why she's skipping Trump's big day.
People were wondering last week when we didn't see Michelle Obama sitting in the pews at the funeral for Jimmy Carter, whether she would actually attend.
I don't understand why people care.
Would have brought her face to face with Donald Trump. They said last week that scheduling conflicts prevented her from attending that event. They're not actually elaborating on why she won't be attending next week's inauguration, which I think probably tells you everything you need to know. You know, Michelle Obama has made no secret about her feelings towards Donald Trump.
So, Kevin, you can sort of look at this as a balancing factor, as it were, which is everything we just said, that perhaps it is indeed
outnumbered.
While also some who argue, well, the position you occupy or that you used to occupy should rise above.
So the 5 and outnumbered, why? Like they have all these shows with people in chairs sitting around, and they're about numbers. Fox News is wild.
You take your 33 and a third chance
of those feelings, and other that say it's simply none of our business, and we don't know what's going on.
Okay, yes. Here, we're going to do the orgy couch again. Would you have an orgy with everybody on the couch? So it's like an up or down. It's like you got to have everybody or nobody.
Well, let me preface my remarks by saying I've been to the, her White House twice, actually with Shark Tank. We shot updates there. She's a really nice woman.
The Shark Tank guy.
Obama, nice guy.
O'Malley.
This is different. This is about.
Luke's already saying no. He's very much a turnoff.
Who's in it? This tradition has gone on for over 100 years. This is what presidents.
O'Leary, that's it.
On inauguration.
I said O'Malley, didn't I?
The holiest day of politics. It is the transition of power. You have to respect it.
He's
like
really ugly
here. I'm against it. I think it's wrong, as was it wrong for Trump not to attend Biden's. This is just wrong.
But it could be that somebody else is hot enough on the couch.
It's just not
that I invite him.
And I don't like it. It takes away from the institution of freedom and what the signal to the world is. Our number one export, I say this over and over again, it's not energy. It's not technology.
I want a wide shot. I want to see everybody on the orgy couch.
That's why people come here. This messes with that.
And so, Harris, for those that say, oh, this is an act of resistance, there are many who say, well, isn't
she all right?
Greater than that unity?
Yeah, I don't really have
America,
standards.
And therefore, yes, show that unity and, to her words, go high.
Well, yeah, I mean, show the example of what you say you're saving your credibility for.
There's something about Harris Faulkner's eyes. That's a yes for me.
Right? I mean, if you're saving your credibility for a later moment in time, don't you want to be looked upon as someone who gave everyone the benefit of the doubt and showed up when it counted?
Gorgeous eyes.
Once in a lifetime events from
like a female Spock. Oh my God.
She's blessed to have.
I like him crazy towards you.
Receiving end of people showing up for her husband.
That's kind of a thing.
If you're not willing to live with integrity in those very difficult moments, it's not when you love everything and everything's perfect that you show up. You show up when there are difficult times and difficult people. Otherwise, sit down completely.
Because it wasn't there an argument always for radical generosity.
I don't know who the other two women are. She looks like she could be my GOP mommy. And I don't. Is that Ainsley? No, that's not Ainsley.
And that radical forgiveness. And that in my occupation of this position, I will show to you what that generosity looks like, what forgiveness looks like, what grace looks like. I thought that's...
As long as O'Leary's at the court, well...
ABC reporter is reporting that Nancy Pelosi won't...
Who is this?
We'll wait to see if Fox can confirm that. They spoke to her spokesperson, they say. So we'll see. This tradition has been...
She's like Paris Hilton got hit with an ugly stick.
Aberrational, to your point, Kevin. They have every right to do what they'd like to do, Pelosi and Michelle Obama. Now, they have the right to do it, but it can also be...
Fox Blonde 21A.
You look at President Trump, 77 million votes, won all 7 swing states, and he got the highest raw vote total.
Not even a named character. She doesn't get a font.
So if you're a party that's looking, I believe Nancy Pelosi wants the best for the Democratic Party, probably Michelle Obama too. I would look at it and maybe take more of a Gretchen Whitmer tone, who yesterday said...
The orgy couch has a 7 tonight.
With Donald Trump, whether that's authentic or not.
Mansour Balls is in.
I think that's the better approach than the adversarial Newsom-like approach. But again, time will tell.
Can I be honest, Jerry? You know, when I hear that about Nancy Pelosi...
Now, who's the other lady?
Because she ripped up the State of the Union. To me, she put her petty politics and petty feelings I saw as an American she was supposed to represent above me, who she's supposed to represent. I've never seen that from Michelle Obama. I've only seen, I thought, a grace.
Yeah, but what crazy rich woman is gonna
something Kevin said?
Snatch me up?
I was a poli-sci major as an undergrad, and what you learn is the moment of transition. It's the most dangerous moment for our country, right? Things could go awry. Things could go wrong. We might not transfer power. It's an important moment.
Oh yeah, I like her. She could be my mommy.
To witness. It's not that you're signing on to the next group of people who are going to lead. It's that you're there to witness it.
Well, we'll see. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host.
Was that Emily? Is that Emily Campagno right there? And this is Harris Faulkner. And this is something O'Leary. He was on the Fish Tank show. And then I have no idea, Kevin O'Leary. I have no idea who these two women are. Does anybody have a totally a DEI hire? His wife killed a dude? Okay, so Fox is upset that Michelle Obama isn't going to the inauguration. Guess who else is not going to be going to the inauguration? The Brazilian court denies Jair Bolsonaro's request to travel to Trump's inauguration. The Brazilian Supreme Court on Thursday denied a request by former President Jair Bolsonaro to temporarily restore his passport so that he could attend the inauguration in Washington of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Justice Alexandre de Moraes, who Bolsonaro frequently has called his personal foe, said in the ruling that Bolsonaro currently holds no position that would allow him to represent Brazil at the event, and that the former president did not adequately prove to the court that he had been invited. Bolsonaro, under several wide-ranging investigations, including over an alleged attempt to stay in office despite his electoral defeat, had his passport seized by federal police last February because he was considered a flight risk. His lawyers say he has a signed letter from the inauguration co-chairs. I would think he is a flight risk, and he would try to escape if he went to the inauguration, but what do I know? A Georgia state senator banned from the state house, State Senator Colton Moore, arrested while trying to get into the House chamber before Governor Brian Kemp's State of the State address. This was the wild scene earlier today. So Moore was banned from the House chambers after making controversial remarks about the late House Speaker David Ralston. This is him trying to enter the chamber earlier today. According to Fulton County court records, Moore was taken to the Fulton County Jail on misdemeanor charge of willful obstruction. Moore had been banned from the state House chambers after making comments in March about the late House Speaker David Ralston. The comments came during a debate in the Georgia State Senate to name a building at the University of North Georgia in Ralston's memory. This body is about to memorialize, in my opinion, one of the most corrupt Georgia leaders that we are ever going to see in my lifetime, Moore said.
1134.1.
This is Colton Moore.
Should be arrested for breaking the law. We all upheld our hand and swore an oath to the Constitution. This is a joint session of the General Assembly. Your House rules do not apply. I'm going into the chamber. Y'all come on in. What a silly mess. What a high school silly mess.
Following the comments which were made in front of some of Ralston's relatives, Republican House Speaker John Burns ordered Moore to be barred from entering the state house. Wednesday, Moore posted a letter on social media calling the banishment by Burns an impermissible censorship of his voice. I will never back down. I will always speak the truth and represent the people of Northwest Georgia as their trusted America First senator.
1611-34.1.
So he's very much like a MAGA guy. A rowdy one, apparently. At some point in time during this, he tweeted, "The speaker is attempting to arrest and block me from representing the 53rd District. I will never back down. I will always speak the truth and represent the people of Northwest Georgia."
Is that all the senators now? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He does not come past this door.
Stop. We're getting really physical. I love this shit.
It has gone too far. I have an obligation to be in that room. I represent 200,000 people in Northwest Georgia who duly elected me to be here today. And you're hindering that.
I mean, yeah.
Unconstitutional. You have no respect for the Constitution. Complete disrespect to the Constitution.
I'm on his side.
Major Langford, I have a Constitution
All he did was bash an old fuck.
This has gone too far.
He's been getting shoved around.
So you're preventing me from entering. Sir, the doorkeeper has no authority. Sir, as a senator of a joint session, I have more authority than the doorkeeper of the House. You're causing disturbance.
Yeah, the dude he was bad-mouthing was dead.
I need to be let in.
Apparently revered.
You're free to stand out here.
He called him corrupt. That should be 100% his right as a senator.
Gentlemen, I'm allowed in. You're not allowed in. Let me in. You're not allowed in the House chamber.
Can y'all back up, please? Can y'all back up, please?
It is popping off in state houses all across this country. I've had no shortage of content. So there he is being arrested. He was also released. The same jail, I believe, Fulton County. Yep.
Here we go.
We saw Trump arrested.
Yeah, we're gonna give the senators some space. They can get medically checked out, so if you can just give them a moment. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna come out. Bye.
Thank you.
So what happened?
Well, I mean, I don't really know what the state of the state is.
They want us to walk back over here.
I don't know what the state of the state is, but I know we're certainly not the peach state anymore. We're the banana state because we reside in a banana republic. No matter who you are or where you're from in the state of Georgia, your representation was denied today. Because if this authoritarian Speaker of the House, John Burns, can stop a member of a General Assembly from entering a joint session, which both chambers unanimously voted to create and to have, then he is by definition a tyrant and authoritarian. Who really controls this state? Is it John Burns or is it Brian Kemp? Today, I don't know. I didn't get to attend the State of the State address. You know, it's absolutely unbelievable that this is the state that we live in, considering nothing like this has ever happened in the history of the state of Georgia. So let all Georgians be warned that freedom is being taken away. I don't believe that they're after me. I believe they're after what I stand for. You know, just like President Donald Trump said, you know, they're not after him, they're after you. Because when you start fighting for America first and
like
for Georgia
Trump
first,
said,
this is what the Rhino Republicans try to do for you. You see, it's so ironic that it's the America First patriots that end up here on Rice Street. Donald Trump, myself. You know, Brian Kemp, the AG Chris Carr, John Burns, they've done absolutely nothing but try to hinder the voice of good, sound policy in this state. I'll never back down. I'll never give up. They'll have to put a bullet in my head to ever stop me.
Amen.
wow. Speaking of Republicans in legal trouble, let's check in with our good buddy, Rudy Giuliani, who apparently got a win today.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, will be able to keep his Florida condo and Manhattan apartments after settling with two Georgia election workers he falsely accused of helping steal the 2020 election. In a statement read by his lawyer, Giuliani said, quote, "I and the plaintiffs have agreed not to ever talk about each other in any defamatory manner, and I urge others to do the same." The workers said they had been compensated as part of the settlement, without saying how much. The settlement came on the same day a civil trial was set to begin in Manhattan federal courts. Instead, Giuliani's seat in court remained empty. The judge was to decide if the election workers could seize Giuliani's properties and personal assets, including 3 Yankees World Series baseball rings, in order to help pay off a $148 million judgment the election workers won after a judge found that Giuliani defamed them.
Somebody wrote a check.
Giuliani has twice been held in contempt of court over his treatment of the workers. In one instance, he falsely claimed there was video showing the workers concealing and counting suitcases filled with illegal ballots in Atlanta. Giuliani has already turned over some assets, including a 1980 Mercedes-Benz, to help pay off the $148 million judgment. Outside of court in November, Giuliani told reporters he was broke.
The reality is,
I like that dude with the red jacket. I like that jacket.
it's all tied up. So right now, if I wanted to call a taxi cab, I can't do it. I don't have a credit card.
Good.
I don't have a checking account. I have no place I can go take cash out except a little bit that I saved, and it's getting down to almost nothing.
Once praised for his response as mayor to the September 11th attacks, Giuliani's reputation has fallen into tatters. Giuliani has pleaded not guilty to criminal charges in 2 states for trying to overturn Biden's 2020 victory over Trump.
Yeah, dude, welcome to the poorhouse. Find out how the rest of us live. Wild video out of California that doesn't involve people on dirt bikes. Oh, I should check back in with that, shouldn't I? Is it possible? Could that still be going on? No. I don't see it anywhere. Check this shit out.
Landslide, but a lot of water was flowing to put out the flames.
So what's causing the damage? Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia joins us live in the Palisades with more. Sid.
Guys, that is the million-dollar question. Let me get out of the way here. We're right near the intersection of Pacific Coast Highway and Sunset. The house you see there is above. Let's show you some video we took earlier. Take a look here. The small house is
split it in half.
It's above Pacific Coast Highway. The area is in the evacuation zone, so no one is around here. This is one of the stranger situations where a home that wasn't burned to the ground is literally broken in half. And again, LA City Fire
that
with their
sucks.
assessment teams are still trying to figure out what happened here.
What caused that is still under investigation by our damage assessment team. Now, if you look right above it, you're going to see a lot of smoldering debris and things that have burned. It's apparent the infrastructure is absolutely compromised. Some smell of gas up there. The water is still flowing from the area. The foundation is compromised. There's no power. It's damaged so significantly that it has been red tagged, deeming it unsafe for people to go in that area.
So what happens when we get a significant amount of rain? If there's a heavy rain, we're told, then there's the threat of debris flow and mudslides because of all of the vegetation that's been burned away. LA City and County Fire is preparing for that as well. And again, for those of you who want to come back in here, as you heard Sheriff Luna on our air in our last segment, you need to be patient. The earliest may be a week from now, but experience tells us it'll probably be longer than that. And again, still under investigation what caused this house to literally be snapped in half.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown.
Hey, Mark Brown.
Great ABC7 content.
Appreciate you, my friend. I bet you're doing a great job with this fire coverage. Evacuees are being urged to stay away from their houses. Just like that house you just saw that was in the evacuation zone.
Angeles officials are urging evacuees to stay away from their homes for safety. But despite the warnings, many locals are still returning to see what's left and figure out what's next. Fox's Sarah Allegre met a Pacific Palisades family who lost everything. She was there for that family's emotional return home, Sarah.
Yeah, hi there, Christina. Los Angeles County officials slowly but surely starting to let some of these families visit these evacuation zones, but only for certain areas. Now, we got special permission from the National Guard to escort a family here to this property. Now, this used to be their home that they built from the ground up, that they moved into 9 years ago to the day. It was a very sobering moment for this family, but it is one that brought them closure.
I was terrified. I couldn't be sure that we would make it out.
He and his family did make it out, but Casey Sabani's home is now nothing more than charred remains of what once was.
You built this home from the ground up.
From the ground up.
We were there as Casey and his kids saw their house for the first time in more than a week.
Is it empty? And
Oh God, that's heartbreaking.
The beautiful houses were all around us, and there was a wall of smoke, and we left with hope.
That hope is gone now.
And I just knew we've got to get out of here.
Winds, flames, and smoke consumed Casey's home.
Over here, the dining room.
Leaving behind ashes and dust.
When I thought about my own future, I wanted sunny California. Look what a beautiful day this is. Beautiful day, sunny, not a cloud in the sky.
Like thousands of others, Casey is now dealing with the uncertainties of what's next.
Kids to school, to insurance claims, to where you're going to live and everything else. It is overwhelming.
Adding to the
I bet
many insurers have cut back or stopped offering policies in fire-prone areas because of the high risk. But Casey's insurance isn't on that list.
We have Mercury Insurance, and they've really, from what we've seen, stepped up.
And as the Sabanis searched for anything that made it through the flames,
Sarah, this tree is a majestic tree, and it survived.
he's focused on what's next.
We lost everything but the most important thing, and we have each other, and this can't be the end. It could be a new beginning, but it can't be the end.
Yeah, quite the perspective during a time like this. You know, in the meantime, experts are encouraging folks like Casey, the man I just introduced you to file their claims as soon as possible with your insurance provider. Of course, keep copies of those documents, log all of the names of anyone you've talked to. Great advice to give your family or friends, anyone you know that has been impacted by something like this. And if you're going to work with a claim rep, just make sure they're licensed with the state and legitimate. Unfortunately, LA County officials say we are seeing those insurance scammers take advantage of the damage. In Pacific Palisades, Sarah.
Oh, I'm sure there's all kinds of scammers trying to take advantage of this situation. Holy shit. Speaking of going up in flames, Bill Burr torched some motherfuckers on social media that think they know what they're talking about.
I heard you had to evacuate your home.
Yes, like most people I had to. I got lucky, the winds moved, but, the fire was coming and all that stuff, so I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet,
Yeah, right, I know, it's right.
Oh, my God. All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean and then just... I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds. You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in L.A. sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
You know about helicopters because I remember, and it's interesting now thinking about it, because you said
I don't know about it. I know about the one that I fly. Other than that, I don't know anything about it.
You know
but
something
if you're on
about...
the internet, you know everything.
I hope you know about it, because you said that you got your pilot's license in case like all hell broke loose in L.A., you could get out of L.A., and at any moment did you think, I'm going to make a run for that helicopter?
Well, the error in my thought was I didn't realize how expensive helicopters were. So all I have is a two-seater, and I didn't want to have to make Sophie's choice with my family. So, we all piled into the SUV like everybody else. But no, man, these guys were out there clearing the trees, getting the wires back up and everything. It was like the perfect awful thing that could have happened, and it did. And I love how all the chatter out there is about bands of illegal immigrants and homeless people lighting fires. They light fires every day. They're living outside. They're cold. And this theory that some homeless guy without a car went from Altadena all the way to the Pacific Palisades, and then we have a hang glider. You know, and they're talking about looting, but CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus. Yeah. Yes. Free Luigi. I love how they acted surprised. Why did that happen? I have no idea. He wrote on the bullets why it happened.
Luigi, okay, yeah.
I never left Luigi.
How is Bill Burr, the father, the husband, in an emergency situation?
I don't know. I'm all right. Like
Are you?
when big stuff happens, I get ridiculously calm. My Achilles heel is little things. So, like, if the house was going to be on fire, I would just be like, well, you know, kind of be cool to not own anything. Like, I'll just go into that mode. An opportunity to build a dream house with the money I no longer have. I would just think like that. But, like, little things I flip out at. Like, you know, if I go to make toast and then all of a sudden it burns, I'm like, who the is changing the settings? And what I realized... I just realized this
toast is amazing.
What it is I learned as a kid, when big things are happening, keep your mouth shut, or the big thing comes at you. And then I flip out over the little things because I'm emoting about that in this. So I don't make any sense to anybody in my house. They're like, Dad, it's toast. What is the big deal? It's like, well, I would tell you what the big deal was, but it's too sad. So we'll just keep it on the toast.
Keep it on the toast. Okay, we're getting into some heavy shit. You know, the last couple of nights, the crime stories haven't been that horrific. Tonight, they kind of are. They're pretty fucking horrific. So let me throw. We've got one involves a puppy. The puppy's gonna be okay, and also maybe a cab to the puppy. The other one involves sexual assault, so total content warning. If you want to skip that kind of shit, you want to come back for the bullshit, give us about 10-15 minutes. It's just a couple of stories. A police shooting happened in Texas. First, a couple of shootings happened. First, it was a car chase.
A police chase and shooting has the southbound lanes of I-35 shut down in Red Oak, really causing a nightmare for commuters. The chase ended in a crash that sent 2 people to a hospital. WFAA's Cole Sullivan joins us live from the scene out there with the very latest at this hour. Hey, Cole.
Hey, Jason, police sources tell us this was a man wanted for murder who DPD chased all the way from Dallas down here to Ellis County. And this is the scene, the way it has been since this chase ended here in Red Oak around 10:30 this morning. If you look, you can see these 2 cars smashed up on the side of I-35 East southbound, a road that's been closed since about that time this morning. One of these cars, police sources tell us, was the suspect vehicle. Another innocent bystanders on the road here as DPD chased that capital murder suspect from Dallas. The Department of Public Safety tells us 2 people in that bystander car ended up going to the hospital as a result of this. And you can just see the smashed up there, how fast this all happened. The suspect shot by DPD officers, sources say, also sent to the hospital. And our helicopter was overhead earlier as this all unfolded. You can see the immediate aftermath here. We don't know the condition of those folks in the hospital at this point, but here's what DPD sources tell us happened. They went to go arrest a capital murder suspect earlier today. When they got there, they say he led them on a chase all the way from Dallas down here to Ellis County to Red Oak. As the crash happened on this service road here, DPS says, then DPD sources say that suspect got out of the car. That's when officers shot him. Texas Rangers are taking over the investigation at this point, and we're told that DPD officers had their body cameras on. Red Oak PD is looking into the wreck. Texas Rangers are looking into the the officer-involved shooting here. Those body cameras, a key part of that investigation. DPS says this road will remain closed until 6 o'clock today. And even if they open it earlier, it's going to cause all kinds of headaches. It has been all day for folks trying to make their way from Dallas down towards Waxahachie and Red Oak. I'm Cole Sullivan.
All right, that is going to be a problem for a while, Cole. Thanks for the update out.
Okay, so this is the one that you definitely need a content warning for. I thought this might have been like the same story as the last one that we watched. This is a completely different story. This was marshals trying to serve a warrant.
The Sheriff's Office is mourning the loss of one of their own. Deputy Jesus Jesse Vargas shot and killed while serving a warrant yesterday. That triggered a massive 6-hour manhunt, ending with the suspect shot and killed. We first broke this story to you yesterday during our new newscast. This happened at a strip center off of Stella Link Road just inside the South Loop. Vargas was working with the U.S. Marshals Gulf Coast Violent Offender Task Force. Authorities say Robert Lee Davis, also known as Sean Christopher Davis, shot the deputy in the head. Yesterday evening, about 5, a witness reportedly saw the suspect in that same strip center and notified authorities. That's when Rocky, a K-9 officer with the U.S. Marshal's Office, alerted authorities to a dumpster where Davis was hiding inside. Davis allegedly shot Rocky twice, and 4 U.S. Marshal's deputies returned fire, killing Davis.
This guy had no intentions whatsoever to be taken alive. He proved it by shooting upon our deputies right off. And then once again, as the K-9 went in there, he decided he'd take the dog out and anybody else that came.
One of the U.S. Marshal's deputies was shot in the arm. He is expected to be okay. Our KHOU 11 Investigates team dug into Davis's background and found a lengthy and violent criminal history. Charges include a burglary case in
the dog is going to be okay.
In 1991, evading police. In 1994, aggravated robbery for pointing a gun at a store clerk. And last year, aggravated assault. The victim, a teenage girl. We've learned that the warrant being served yesterday was for an assault charge out of Brazoria County.
He was a bad dude.
A lot of concern has been expressed for the K-9 officer, Rocky, a Belgian Malinois who was just a year and a half old. Authorities say Davis shot Rocky twice, and after the shootout, deputies carried the dog to a DPS helicopter, which flew him to an animal hospital. That's where our Devon Roming is live at the Westbury Animal Hospital in Southwest Houston. Devon, a lot of folks on social media expressing interest and concern about Rocky.
Yes.
Yeah, Sherman, this was at the top of the leaderboard on our website, khou.com. So many people concerned about what's happening with Rocky right now, and I can tell you...
Everybody concerned about the dog.
Marshal's office about an hour and a half ago, they tell us that Rocky is stable. They also say that he is still resting here at the Westbury Animal Hospital and Lodge. They also tell us he's expected to survive his injuries, which is absolute good news. Now, we've been seeing officers coming and going all morning here at Westbury Animal Hospital, stopping in to check on Rocky. He's been being held a hero after being credited with locating the
dogs are awesome.
Robert Lee Davis, also known as Sean Christopher Davis, yesterday. Davis was hiding in a dumpster, and officers say Rocky actually jumped into the dumpster moments before he was shot twice. Rocky was serving on a secondary team that was out searching for Davis and was able to alert officers of Davis's location. Officials say there is no doubt.
I think the dogs are victims.
It's instrumental to have a component of having airlift to take dogs to service to the closest clinic.
Be it bombs, be it drugs, you name it, saving lives. Those dogs are amazing. They're part of us. They're an absolute benefit to the community.
No, I think they're being abused.
Officers rushed Rocky onto a Texas DPS helicopter where he was transported to the animal hospital.
Those dogs are wonderful.
Rocky is in a stable condition. He is resting here. He's also been by his...
They were crying over the dog, weren't they? And I don't blame them.
All through the night and up until this moment right now, we're told that the handler isn't leaving until Rocky is discharged. We're also told that we are expecting an update on Rocky's condition at some point later this afternoon from the U.S. Marshal's Office. Live in West Houston, Devon Rahman, KHOU 11 News.
All right, thanks, Devon. And that is an important reminder that Rocky finding that suspect could well have saved human lives. Thank you, Devon.
What human lives? Holiday, did I tell you good evening? Welcome in, my friend. Okay, this one, fucking rough. One more time, content warning. The doctor has been indicted. He was apparently taking a lot of liberties with his patients. See if I get
The doctor who practiced at several locations, including Brigham and Women's Hospital, has now been indicted for rape. The Middlesex District Attorney's Office says Dr. Derek Todd was indicted on 2 counts of rape involving women who were his patients. Authorities say this happened between December of 2022 and June 2023 during medical examinations at Charles River Medical Associates in Framingham, which is where the alleged attacks occurred. He was already facing several civil lawsuits, including class action suits. At the time, his lawyer said those lawsuits were without merit. Todd resigned from the Brigham as the hospital was moving to fire him after an internal investigation.
From the Brigham.
He could be arraigned as early as tomorrow. We have reached out to his attorney for comments.
This next one comes to us from Manchester, England. We don't get a lot of crime stories out of Manchester. Got some police body cam footage here. Suspect hiding from police under a bed. Apparently he was burglarizing people. He's a hooligan. Quite possibly a scallywag. They have a different kind of crime over in England. So apparently SpaceX had a win and a fucking L all on the same day. The Starship Super Heavy rocket booster was able to be caught midair, and this is pretty cool.
Booster now hovering as it aligns with the tower for catch.
Booster coming in. Get ready for that boom, Kate.
Down to 3 engines.
I had to watch it a few times. I was like, is that shit AI? I mean, that's pretty fucking neat.
Now hovering as it aligns with the tower for catch.
Booster coming in. Get ready for that boom, Kate.
Down to 3 engines.
But all this shit is made possible with our tax dollars and NASA's help. And then Elon Musk gets to take the credit for it, as if he did something. It's goddamn disgusting.
Coming in. Get ready for that boom, Kate.
Down to 3 engines.
How does that work? Is somebody controlling it with like a PlayStation controller or anything? Yeah. Can't parallel park. I'm really good at parallel parking. Oh shit, hold on. SpaceX also announcing Starship experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly during its ascent burn. That's a weird way to say blew up. Teams will continue to review data from today's flight test to better understand the root cause. With a test like this, success comes from what we learn, and today's flight will help us improve Starship's reliability. This is the aftermath of the explosion.
Oh my gosh! What is this? Are we gonna fucking die? Look up at me, Melissa. Right there! Right here! Shane, what is that?
That's how the burn of the atmosphere is what that is. That's crazy. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Oh my god, I gotta FaceTime one of my
That is 100% something burning up the atmosphere. That's wild,
Space junk or something.
A rapid, unscheduled disassembly during its ascent burn. That's a weird way to say explosion. Bo Macina, good evening.
Oh my god! Harry, get a picture! Wait, get a picture! Ready?
Good, it's about to fall on top of us.
Guys, oh my gosh! What is this? Are we gonna fucking die? Look up at me, Melissa. Right there! Right here! Shane, what is that?
That's how the burn of the atmosphere is what that is. That's crazy. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Oh my god, I gotta FaceTime.
It was seen from the Dominican Republic, apparently. Here, let me get you a different shot of this. Apparently no. I'm back here. Getting vaporized by a blown up rocket crash landing on Earth is a pretty cool way to go out. I don't know. What do you mean by seeing anything personally? I've seen a lot of things personally once her balls. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. However, that doesn't limit your options very much at all. I went to space camp when I was a kid. That was pretty fun. I I'm maybe 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that at the time. And, like, we're gonna do the fucking walk out on, I don't know if it was the moon or Mars or whatever the fuck it was. And I'm like in charge of like the tongs, and I gotta like go out and put the rocks and whatever the fucking thing was. And the dude's, yapping, giving the instructions of what all we have to do once we get off the spacecraft and shit. Because, like, you've been preparing for this all week in space camp, right? And I've got those tongs. And I start, like, tonging on his foot as he's talking. And he's like, all right, you're off the mission. Like, I gotta go take my spacesuit and everything off. I didn't get to do the spacewalk because I'm a smart ass with the tongs. It was what at NASA at fucking, it was in Florida. It was, because they got one in Alabama, they got one in Florida. Cape Canaveral. Like, I did some really cool things when I was a kid, but like usually like I was in some organization. I did a lot of extracurricular activities and shit. Yeah, Cape Canaveral or whatever the fuck. It was a really cool experience. Yeah, I went to show choir camp at Disney World, like 2 or 3 years. It was like the captain of whatever the ship. Like, you spend all week learning like what the mission and fucking shit is. And then like this was like the last part to go out, and they've got like a recreate. I can't remember if it was the moon or Mars or what, because I didn't get to go out. I didn't get to go off the ship. I was punished. I was off the mission. I was like the lead person on the mission. I had done so well at the space camp, but then I'm a smart ass with the tongs that you were supposed to pick up. Well, I got left on the ship that was on the planet or the moon or whatever. I just didn't get to go out and walk on it. Because I'm a troublemaker. I've been a troublemaker my entire... Like, I got to do some really cool shit, but I've been a troublemaker the entire way. I'm a security risk, yeah. Technically not, because I've been cleared like twice to be around the president. A group in Illinois is trying to secede from Cook County.
Counties to separate from Chicago and Cook County to form a new state. The separatists say things like high taxes and a shrinking influence at the state capitol have them ready to secede. Fox 2's Andy Banker shows us Indiana has now come calling.
Well, voters in 33 Illinois counties, including multiple counties in the St. Louis region, have now approved non-binding ballot measures saying they no longer want to be part of the state. And a lot of people around here may not take that very seriously, but they apparently do in Indiana.
Instead of succeeding and creating a 51st state, they should just join us.
Indiana's Republican House Speaker Todd Huston has just introduced a bill to create an Indiana-Illinois Boundary Commission to look at making the Illinois counties part of Indiana.
At least they understand the legitimacy of what we're doing.
Virgil Strader heads the Madison County Committee for a group called the State of New Illinois. It's drawing up its own state constitution, but not looking to join Indiana.
If you took Cook County out of Illinois, the balance of Illinois has more geography, more commerce, and more people than the state of Indiana.
Article 4 of the U.S. Constitution says no new state shall be formed without consent of the legislatures and the Congress. Illinois Republican State Rep. favors separation, but says support in Congress is highly unlikely.
I don't see it happening if they allow.
I love this.
Illinois
Things are going wild at the state level.
Then what happens if California wants to split? They could end up maybe being 5 states even, or Texas split up.
He's proposing a state constitutional amendment to allot one state.
Well, they don't realize if California was to split into 3 states, one of them would probably be Republican.
For every 3 contiguous counties, which would give downstate Illinois a Senate majority instead of Chicago, which now dominates both houses of the General Assembly, and much less sloppy, he says, than trying to add a 51st star to the American flag. In Madison County, Illinois, Andy Banker, Fox 2 News.
Well, we need to add a 51st star to the American flag and a 52nd and a 53rd and a 54th, but that's our territories that we don't treat like states. Stickers. Man, I'd like some cookies right now. I took a shot of chocolate syrup when I went and refilled my tea. Tampa residents are upset about their holes. Angry about their gaping holes.
Now tackling the hole problem. A Tampa City Council member says pothole.
It says gaping holes, does it not? I'm not exaggerating. The hole problem. They knew what they were doing.
Now tackling the hole problem. A Tampa City Council member says potholes are the #1 complaint from residents and not enough is being done about them. This weekend, thousands of people will be in South Tampa for the Children's Gasparilla Parade. And at some point, cars and people will have to navigate around all of these big holes in the streets. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson.
The Children's Gasparilla Parade is what?
Complaint from residents and not enough is being done about them. This weekend, thousands of people will be in South Tampa for the Children's Gasparilla Parade. And at some point, cars and people will have to.
Am I stupid or was that like gibberish? Children love sarsaparilla. Is that what it is?
The #1 complaint from residents and not enough is being done about them. This weekend, thousands of people will be in South Tampa for the Children's Gasparilla Parade. And
But what's she saying?
Cars and people will have to navigate around all of these big holes in the streets. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson is digging into this for us. He joins us live.
Gasparilla, that's what she's saying.
Good evening, Stacey. Well, I know some people who have threatened to plant trees in some of these potholes because some of these craters have been in South Tampa streets for months.
It's a pirate thing.
South Tampa, and this is what you will find. A hole on Howard Avenue at Bayshore. Another hole on Howard at Morrison Avenue in front of a popular restaurant. And check out this hole on Estrella Street in front of...
But they want... Okay, they're having a kids parade, but they want people to check out their holes. It's a pirate thing. That sounds fun.
Voorhees home.
It all of a sudden appeared one day. I reported it to the city that day.
That day was in October. Now, 5 months later, the hole is still there.
Oh, man, those bricks. That's hard to maintain or cobble or whatever the fuck it is.
A few days, but now it's February.
A cone marking the hole has been run over so many times it's damaged and sinking away.
It's a mini sinkhole. I mean, it goes down a ways.
The hole limits traffic to just one lane in front of their house.
I've seen people almost get into fights out here trying to wait for traffic to clear.
Tampa City Councilman Bill Carlson says people complain about potholes all of the time.
I hear about potholes every day. It's the #1 issue that I hear from constituents.
And yet he says not enough of the city budget is dedicated to street repairs.
I think everything we're spending.
It's a big issue.
If we're going to spend money,
we should take care of our fucking roads.
Why?
He says the city council added $7 million to the street repair budget 2 years ago, but that only brings the total to $11 million a year.
So if anybody wants to
more potheads, less potholes. Yes, I love it.
The council has been increasing it, but we need to spend money on potholes.
Buy one up, tip one back.
We need to stop spending on what is nice to have and spend on what we need to have.
The city of Tampa has a website where you can report potholes. The website is called Fix It Fast, but obviously some of these holes are not being fixed fast or fixed at all.
Prometheus has a hole for you to fix.
For Gasparilla, Stacey.
Okay, this might seem like the most obvious question ever, but what in the heck is taking so long?
Well, I asked the city of Tampa that question today. They sent me back an email that says some of these are not just holes.
I mean, that's what government's supposed to fucking do.
Cave-ins, because under the ground there is either a stormwater or a water line or a sewer line that has collapsed, and so it takes longer to repair those. The city says they are adding record amounts of money to fix these problems, but right now more than 100 of these exist in the city of Tampa. So to Bill Carlson's point, not enough is being spent.
There's one on my street, if we could add that to the list too. It's a cave-in.
That was funny. Florida is cooked. We have a campaign to save a prairie dog colony in Longmont. I don't even know where Longmont is.
Volunteers that helped relocate at least 600 prairie dogs in that Dry Creek area. Now he says he doesn't want to see the prairie dogs close to his home go away as well.
It's in Colorado.
In Longmont. It's a lot different from New York.
Could just get around on my scooter, my bike.
That's a big reason Jamie Frana moved here 6 years ago. Getting to see these guys every day.
Oh,
it's a big draw for him.
I love hearing their little chirps.
This prairie dog colony's about a 3-minute walk from Jamie's apartment.
Right in our backyard, and I'd love to see it stay that way.
But recently he learned the neighborhood HOA wants to get rid of them.
Seeing these prairie dogs really brings so much joy. If they go away, so will the rabbits, so will the birds.
So his fight began. He started a petition.
They're adorable.
As he tries to convince the HOA to let him help safely relocate the prairie dogs or keep them here.
How do you feel about the prairie dogs? You love them? They're so cute, right?
HOA board vice president.
Oh, he totally has a haggy
Other
sack.
members have voiced concern with the animals.
They're worried.
Did you see a chicken rump?
Street and come into people's yards. They've eaten all the native grass in that area, basically, so it's very short now.
But she wants to continue to hear what Jamie has to say.
Obviously, he has a lot of information and knowledge about the subject.
Would you mind signing our petition here to help save them?
Well, he just thinks they're cute.
Amanda Gilbert, 9 News.
Hold on, we're gonna watch prairie dog videos now. I gotta see more of that squeaking. Dog. Oh shit! Only half live past their first year? That's not cool. Apparently some people have domesticated the prairie dogs. Those are fat fucking prairie dogs. Pablo and Pedro. Oh my god, look how cuddly. Ah, look at their little hands. They're almost like a squirrel, but like a cat. The cat squirrel. Yeah, but they're mischievous as fuck. See, cats don't like to burrow. I wish a cat would get in on the covers with me. But they don't like the covers. They want to be above the covers. Like Socks don't like it when I wrap them up in a blanket and shit. Maynard will get under the blankets. And sometimes he'll stick around for a little bit. I kind of want some prairie dogs now. Holy shit. Look at that face. I'm in love with prairie. I don't want to. I don't want to see you. Yeah, back to the prairie dog. So fat. Look at his little outfit. He's got a little sweater vest on. Oh, they kissing. Was he like biting his tongue? Being a little menace. Chonky fellas indeed. Oh yeah, it's got like stupid music under it, so like the Nat Geo thing's probably gonna get me copyright. Fucking shit sucks. Have to go cut it out on YouTube. It is Thursday night, so I'm gonna send you over to the Leftist Mafia. We're gonna go to the Surfs channel this time. Maybe I'll try to do confirmation hearings going on tomorrow. Maybe I'll get up with, I do have a strain of marijuana called Freak Show, so maybe I'll get up with the media winch. Maybe we'll make a freak show happen tomorrow. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before we hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you sometime. If not before the... Oh yeah, we'll do classic wrestling and shit on